Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. I've changed my mind. I think 90 Day Fiancé's Michael deserves another shot in the franchise. Angela was a troubled partner, and he could do better. I believe Michael Sammy from 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, deserves to find his soulmate after spending over 7 years with Angela Deem. He first appeared on the show with Angela in 2018, and despite the 22-year age gap, the couple got engaged. I was impressed by Michael's level-headed personality, which complemented Angela's loud and outspoken nature. However, things took a turn for the worse when Michael betrayed Angela by being intimate with another woman in Nigeria. Despite this, I appreciate that he apologized for his actions and tried to rebuild his relationship with Angela. Although Michael attempted to rebuild trust with Angela over the years, she never fully recovered from his past infidelity, leading him to seek affection elsewhere. I don't approve of Michael's actions, but it seems he continued to cheat on Angela because he felt unloved and could easily seek affection elsewhere. Despite this, he clearly wanted to address his problems with Angela. After witnessing a hopeful conclusion to their journey in 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 1, I believed their relationship was improving. However, my optimism waned when Michael abruptly left Angela's house in February 2024. I believe Michael loved Angela at the start of their relationship. I appreciated it when he mentioned he fell in love with Angela after observing her caring nature towards her grandchildren. However, his feelings changed quickly, and he eventually cheated on her. After the first incident of cheating, he no longer loved her, but instead took advantage of her trust to come to the United States. Now that he is in America, I hope he'll leave behind his opportunistic and manipulative behavior and try to build a real connection with a suitable woman. I can see he is a respectable family man, and I hope he can use it to improve his public image and gain respect from viewers, including me. Although I hold him accountable for playing Angela like a fiddle, I would like to see him commit to a woman and fulfill his responsibilities as a husband, something he failed to do with his former American wife. I believe it was unfair of Michael to leave Angela after only 3 months of being in the United States. I wished he had given their relationship at least 6 months to improve. However, I can no longer fault him for leaving Angela, given how she had mistreated him for years. I empathize with Angela's frustration towards Michael about his questionable actions, but she didn't need to publicly lash out at him and damage his self-respect. Despite having the chance to end things, she chose to stay with him, possibly for the sake of being on TV. Part of me views Michael as a fraudster, but I commend him for ending his unhealthy marriage to Angela, who berated him for 7 years. He shouldn't feel guilty about protecting himself. I think it's time for him to pursue happiness and find a loving partner who will support him. Angela is no longer in his life, and at 36 years old, he deserves someone who will love him unconditionally. Now that he is living in the United States, he is focused on building a career as a social media influencer and should consider finding a compatible partner. Michael may have had ulterior motives for coming to the United States, but I have noticed he still has many fans who want him to continue living in America and fulfill his American dream. In fact, I was shocked to see Michael's loyal fans helped him raise over $50,000 to hire a lawyer to fight Angela in court and prevent his deportation. Due to Michael's popularity, I believe he should make a comeback to the franchise. He seems like a great candidate for 90 Day, the single life. I have yet to fully understand Michael's true personality, as I have always seen him navigate through Angela's intimidating presence. His potential return to the franchise could reveal his true nature to 90 Day Fiancé viewers and possibly win over even Angela's supporters with his character. It would be interesting if the producers allowed him to share his journey without Angela's influence to determine whether he's genuinely innocent and a lover of peace. Despite the 90-Day Fiancé franchise couple's claim that their 22-year age difference didn't hinder their love for each other, I believe Michael harbored a preference for younger women. Angela may have been aware of his preference, which is why she underwent weight loss surgery and received Botox injections to appear younger. Additionally, most of the women Michael has been associated with in the past year have been significantly younger. Michael is single and likely ready to date. I believe he should acknowledge his preference for women who are his age. I also think he would benefit from being with a woman who is as extroverted as Angela but treats him with respect. Despite his past tendency to cheat, I think Michael is a kind man who deserves to be with a partner who is well-rounded and supports traditional gender roles. I believe the 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after. Alam would feel valued and appreciated if he were with a more nurturing and sophisticated woman. I've changed my mind. Michael deserves another shot in the 90-Day Fiancé franchise. Angela was a troubled partner, and he could do better. When I first watched Michael Sammy on 90-Day Fiancé, I was in the same boat as many fans. I saw a man who seemed weak, passive, and a bit too submissive to his much older, fiery, and often volatile partner, Angela Deem. For a while, it seemed like Angela was the driving force of their relationship, and Michael was more or less along for the ride. His calm, collected demeanor and willingness to go along with her decisions made me question whether he had any agency at all. But as the seasons of 90-Day Fiancé and 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after, progressed, something shifted. It wasn't that Michael suddenly became a perfect partner, far from it, but it became clear that his story was more complex than I initially gave it credit for. Angela, despite her charismatic moments, was undeniably a troubled partner, and Michael, through no fault of his own, was often caught in a toxic cycle. And now, with a bit of hindsight, I'm ready to admit, Michael deserves another shot in the 90-Day Fiancé franchise, not just as a side character in Angela's drama, but as someone with the potential to find a partner who truly supports him. A rocky start. When Michael first appeared on screen, I'll admit, I wasn't sold. Angela's behavior was often erratic, her anger outbursts, her loud demands, and her unwillingness to compromise were hard to ignore. It was evident early on that their relationship wasn't going to be a smooth ride, and Michael often seemed to be the one on the receiving end of Angela's tantrums. For example, who could forget Angela's famous outburst about his visa process and their constant arguments over their future in America? While Michael tried to appease her, Angela would resort to yelling, belittling him, and even using her physicality to dominate the situation. She threw tantrums, even in the presence of her family, creating an environment that was less than supportive. At the time, I thought Michael wasn't standing up for himself enough. He appeared to simply let Angela take the reins, as if he didn't mind being her emotional punching bag. It was hard to watch. Angela's troubling behavior. But as time went on, it became clear that Angela wasn't just an eccentric woman with a big personality. There were deeper issues at play. Angela had a history of emotional volatility, which was exacerbated by her constant need for control in the relationship. She openly admitted to struggling with body image issues, insecurities about her age, and a deep fear of losing Michael to someone else. Instead of seeking therapy or taking time to heal, Angela projected those fears onto Michael, placing an impossible amount of pressure on him. The more Angela tried to control Michael, the more their relationship fractured. Her frequent outbursts weren't just big personality moments. They were signs of a deeper emotional need for validation. As a result, Michael was often forced to pick up the pieces, placating her so she wouldn't spiral. Watching their dynamic unfold, it was clear to me that Angela wasn't just a difficult partner. She was toxic, and she treated Michael in a way that no one should ever have to tolerate. Her manipulative tendencies weren't healthy, and they reflected a troubling pattern of abuse. Michael's resilience and strength. In the midst of Angela's storms, Michael exhibited an emotional resilience that I didn't give him credit for early on. The man constantly put up with a lot: public humiliation, personal attacks, and emotional distress. But despite it all, he rarely raised his voice in anger. Instead, he often sought to resolve conflicts calmly, putting up with Angela's irrational behavior with a quiet grace that I initially mistook for weakness. What I failed to recognize back then was that Michael was being forced to live in a perpetual state of survival. He was walking on eggshells in a relationship where every disagreement felt like a potential eruption. And yet, through it all, he never gave up on the idea of marriage with Angela, hoping that their love would eventually conquer the obstacles. But after years of emotional manipulation, there comes a breaking point, and it's clear that Michael had been pushed to his limit.